Welcome to AU Has a Library. So we're going to be looking at navigating the library website, some search tools that we have, and we're going to do some demos of what that looks like. Introductions. So my name is Jessica Jones. I'm the Instruction and Reference Services Librarian here at AU. So if you have any reference questions at all or any research questions, I'm probably going to be the one responding to you. I did put in the generic library email because that is the best way to contact the library, just so that you're not waiting on a response from me. There might be another individual librarian that can help you as well. So the agenda, we're going to look at some confusing library terminology that you may come across. We're going to demo, our library website. So taking a look at where to find our databases, a catalog, how to search for a specific journal, what Discover is, and of course, getting library help. We'll also then take a look at some of the upcoming webinars that might be of interest to you guys, and we'll finish off with Q&A. This part won't be recorded, so you can ask any and all questions you have, and you may feel comfortable coming off mic if you so wish. So we're going to jump right in right now. And this is the terminology we're going to take a look at today. So what is a catalog versus a database? What Discover is? Peer review, what does that mean? And what are the difference between journals, journal articles, and magazine articles? And why does that really matter to you when you're doing your research? So I'm going to start off really quickly with a question for you guys. Feel free to pop your answer in the chat. What can you find in a library catalog? What do you think you can find in a database? Feel free to pop any responses you have in the chat. We'll be going into detail about what you can, can't find, and what the differences are. Any thoughts? Okay, I see some people responding in the chat. Yeah, ebooks, PDFs, okay. Journals, scholarly articles for databases, yes, exactly. So let's take a look at some of those specifics. So in a catalog, we're going to find our books. So yes, we actually do have print format books here at AU, and you can request those to be mailed to you. We do have access to all of our ebooks through the catalog as well. Videos, so you might find, DVDs or videos that are available through streaming online, and other media that we may have. So psychology kits, geology kits, science models, and you can request these for your courses. Versus databases. When we think of databases, they're an organized collection of data that can be searched. So essentially, they will include articles, book chapters, magazines, that sort of idea. Databases are great for research, especially if you're focusing on a specific topic or a discipline, right? Databases are where journal articles are housed, right? That's where you collect them. And we'll go into how you can find databases and where they're located on the library as well. So Discover, when you access the library website, which we'll do shortly, you'll see that it's the main library search bar. This is an indexing system, so it searches all of the databases that are connected, and it provides you an index, which is essentially like, hey, this item has a record, it exists. It can be full text, but it also could just be a citation or an abstract, right? So this is just going to provide you with a link to where that particular material is housed within a database. So essentially, it's like you sort of go through your list, you see what's available, and then you can link out from there. It is not like Google, so you can't search like, what is blah, 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 blah. It uses what are called keywords, and we'll go into that a little bit later as well. All right, so here's a tough question. Does anyone know what peer review is? Or have any thoughts about what they think peer review is? Yes, research reviewed by other experts in the same field. Exactly. It is confusing because there are two meanings for peer review, right? So let's get a little bit into what peer review is going to mean for you for looking for resources for your topics, right? For your assignments. So peer review are articles that have been rigorously reviewed by experts in their field before they are accepted for publication. They're considered the highest quality that you can get. They're written for experts or researchers in that academic discipline. And just a reminder that not all scholarly journals are actually peer-reviewed. So you can be published in a really well-known journal, but if that journal doesn't have the requirement for peer review, then your material might not be peer-reviewed. Same thing, you might be published in a peer-reviewed journal, but if it's something like an opinion piece, that might not necessarily be peer-reviewed either. So it's always good to pay attention to when materials are peer-reviewed and when they're not. And this will be potentially a requirement for some of your assignments. They might say, hey, go find me 5 articles that are peer-reviewed, right? And I'll show you how to sort of get to those materials during our search as well. All right, here's a tricky question for you. What do you think the differences are between a journal and a journal article, as well as a journal article and a magazine article? So this is a little bit more tricky. Think a little bit on the audience. Who would read a journal article? Who would read a magazine article? What do you think some of the requirements are? Yep, the general public versus researchers. Yeah, that's the audience. Yeah. And what do you think that sort of means in terms of maybe the content or the differences? Yeah, exactly. A journal is a complete collection. A specific subsection. Yes. Okay. So we're getting some really good responses here, guys. So you've obviously done this before. So a journal versus a journal article. So again, yes, as it said in the chat, journals are a collection of published articles, about a specific topic. They're often peer-reviewed, not necessarily, right? Whereas journal articles are a single piece of published material within that journal. They could be original studies, but written by experts. Pardon me, that sort of thing, right? So we can also think of journals can be described as peer-reviewed or refereed. Journal databases house collections of these journals, and they're available in electronic format and have searchable indexes, which lead us back to Discover, right? And we have over 200 journal databases available at the library and over 107,000 individual journals in full text as well. So you've got a lot of material that you can work with. Again, journals can be published yearly, like annually, quarterly, monthly. It all really depends on the publishing for that specific journal. Now, journal articles versus magazine articles, gets a little bit trickier. So again, we just went over what journal articles are. They're that single article housed within a journal, can be peer-reviewed, written for experts and researchers in a specific academic discipline. Magazine articles are more general interests, right? Or for specialized consumer content, often for the general public. The difference here is that they're going to be used for entertainment or to try and persuade you on a specific idea or opinion. It's also sort of along the lines of, hey, it might go through some editing for grammar and punctuation, but it's not going to have that peer-reviewed scholarly article level quality of material. Okay, so I thought it'd be interesting to do a quick learning activity on a journal versus a journal article. So I've posted here a citation. So this is an APA. You'll probably be using APA for a lot of your courses. So in this particular citation, can you identify what a journal versus a journal article is? So pop 1 or 2 in the chat. 1 if you think Social Work in Mental Health is the title of the journal article, or pop 2 in the chat if you think gender disparities and mental health manifestations in Twitter discourse on student loan debts is the journal title. Perfect. So one is, in fact, the journal itself, right? Not every journal will say, hey, it's the Journal of Social Work, right? Or it's Journal of Nursing, right? So sometimes being able to distinguish the difference between a journal and a journal article will help direct you in where you're going to be searching within the library website. So these are all key bits of information. It'll also help you when you're doing your citations, which you're going to have to do whenever you use materials from another source in any of your assignments. All right, so I put together a really broad research question, which we're going to take a look at today. So what are the effects of social media on mental health? And this will just give us a little bit of an idea of how to search to answer this specific question and where we can go to find materials on the library website. So I'm going to do a demo of the library website now. We're going to go into, what a catalog is, what the databases are and how to find them, how to get some help, and how to search within Discover. So I'm just going to stop sharing momentarily, and then I will go back in and I will show you the library website. So this is the main library website. I am just going to pop the link into the chat in case anybody wants to follow along. So here you can see this is our main library website. I'm going to start off with what you see in the center of the page. So whenever you access the library, it will default to the Discover search. So remember, Discover is that indexing system. It shows us what's out there in terms of what's available, in abstract, maybe just a citation, or even full text within the library, right? It's good for introductory searches. The next I will point out to you is our journal title search. So if you know the title of a journal, let's say your professor's like, hey, go take a look at this specific journal, and you just pop the journal title into the search, you can do a quick search here. I'm just going to go over really quickly what everything is, and then I can show you how to search specifically. Next is the library catalog. So remember, this is really good for if you have a specific title of a book that you're looking for. You can find ebooks, print books, physical materials, any of our DVDs and collections here. So first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Discover. I am going to show you how to do a quick title search, a quick keyword search for our topic today. So we were focusing on social media and mental health. So I am just going to open an advanced search window, and I am going to type in social media and mental health. These are our keywords, which are our main topics and ideas when we're searching. To go into more of how to search and how to build your search, we'll be doing a webinar in a couple weeks that's called Search Like a Pro. We'll go over more about how to join that if you're interested. But this will just give you a quick idea of how to search. So you can see how we've searched. We're getting materials that have that full PDF access, and then we'll get items that are indexed. So they might only have an abstract or a citation associated with it, right? You can see how our keywords are starting to come in our search as well. So that's just really quick on how to use Discover. Next, I'll type in a journal title that I have saved. And so let's say, hey, your prof is saying, go look up psychology of popular media. And it's a journal. This is a good example of knowing the difference between what an article is and what a journal is. So I'm just going to paste in the psychology of popular media and hit search. So we can see, oh, look, psychology of popular media. Oh, we have it available in the library for access, right? So again, if your faculty is like, hey, go take a look at a journal title, this is the perfect search bar for that. Finally, the library catalog. Still continuing on with our research question, we're going to look for a specific title. I find that the library catalog is helpful if you have a specific title in mind that is, for example, social media and youth mental health. We click search. We'll see here's our specific title, and it's available through an ebook. So I tend to use Discover when I'm searching for research questions, the catalog for when I'm searching for specific book titles, and I use the journal title search when I'm, interested in a specific journal. So that was really quick on how to use these three search bars. We'll be going into this more in detail on how to build your search again in that other webinar. Along the right-hand side of the screen, you'll also see this pop-up for Ask Us Chat. Okay, so Discover is the equivalent of wandering through the shelves and not really knowing what you're looking for. You can drill down into Discover using filters to sort of say, hey, I want to find journal articles or I want to find books. And you can then build your search around that. It is a little bit like wandering through the shelves, but once you have an idea of what you're looking for, you can narrow it down. So the Ask Us chat bar is available Tuesday and Thursdays from 11 till 3. If you want to ask us any questions outside this time, I will be going into how to contact the library, and I'll provide you resources with how to do so. The library email address, I'll also pop that in, and that'll also be in the handout that I will provide. And I'll also provide a link to the slideshows at the end of the presentation as well for you guys to take a look at. So I'm going to take a look at the top navigation bar now, okay? So what resources are available? So Find Databases is where you can find the Find Databases tab and the digital collections. So this would be like your DRR, different theses that have been saved at the library, that sort of idea. I'm just going to click Find Databases again. And now we're in the Find Databases list. So if you're doing research on a specific topic and let's say nursing, then you can go here and take a look at nursing databases. So you can scroll down along the side. If you have an idea of what the database is, you can type the title in, or you can narrow it down by subject area as well. So let's say you are looking for nursing related databases, you can select nursing and health studies, and this will refine all the database lists to a specific discipline. We do have psychology and all the other programs available as well. I'm just going to navigate back to the main library website so everybody knows where we're at. The next is how to use the library. So there's a lot of helpful tools here. So we have how to use the library, information about borrowing resources, so you can borrow books, using search tools. It'll lead to all of our orientations. Get library support. This is probably one of the most important ones that I'll show you. So get library support. We go here. You can see we have different resources for planning your research, our guides and tutorials, accessing specific services and resources. All of those are also linked below. The most important that I would point out to you is our guides, tutorials, and webinars. You can do keyword search on here. I tend to just skip to the guides and subject area on topic. So these will have program specific ones. So if you are in science and tech, if you're in psychology or nursing, we have specific program guides for each of them. And in those guides, we'll give some recommendations on databases, how to start your searches, all of that. On here, we also have links to our webinars. So anything that you would find of interest in any of our webinars are also linked here. We also have information on writing and citing, which is also of interest to you guys because you'll be doing a lot of that for your assignments and coursework. So I'm just going to navigate back to our site. About AU Library. So this is information on how to contact us. So you can contact us email 24/7. We do check those during business hours and try and respond to you within as quickly as possible. And you can also take a look at our policies as well. So you can log into your My Library account. I would say that you should only do this if you're looking to renew physical materials. Besides that, you don't really need to log into your My Library account. So that was a really quick overview about how to search within the library, how to access some of our resources. What I'm going to do is I'm going to now just pop really quickly back into the presentation slideshow, and I'll provide you some extra additional information. So I've made a list of helpful resources that might be of interest to you guys as you go along in your research. Again, everything we talked about today. So, our guides, tutorials, and webinar list, some specific guides that I would highlight for you to take a look at. The Find Databases list, where you can access those subject and discipline specific databases. Information about, an orientation. This is a RISE course you can work through at your own speed, and it does include recordings. And of course, contacting the library. We do have an upcoming webinar that talks about how to find full text and articles and books as well within the library. What I would recommend is taking a look at our FGS series. This is going to be where we discuss more about how to search within the library, how to build those searches. So that would be Search Like a Pro. Citation management might also be of interest, especially if you're going to be doing a lot of heavy research. I have all of these linked as well. I'll be providing these slide decks. So now I'm going to just stop the recording and we can do a little bit of a Q&A session. And if people feel comfortable, they can come off mute.